Very good afternoon to all my beloved students. Today I discuss the second part of tree concept, and here the summary of this part are: first one is the memory representation of the binary tree. Second one, I discuss the different tree traversal techniques, and lastly I discuss about the application of binary tree. Now here the representation of binary tree are done in two ways. Number one is the linked representation and number two is the sequential representation. Now here in linked representation, the most common and easiest way to represent a binary tree is using linked list. Here, each node in a binary tree has three fields. One field is used to store the data value and other two fields are used to store the address of the two children. Now here in this field, here one info part is there, that is in the middle portion of the field, and the left pointer is there and the right pointer is there in the each node of the linked list. And here the root keeps the location of the start node, which is the location of the root also. Now I go to the slide section to notepad where I just represent the tree portion in the notepad. Now here in this portion, here when we represent the binary tree, here at first we define struct node. So I write down this thing in the notepad, that is struct node. Now basically here we have to create a structure part. Now inside it, here we have to define the left pointer at first. So inside the struct node we have to define the left pointer. Now in the next case, here we take the info part as a character data type. So we write down that char info. Now info part maybe character or maybe integer or float value, etc. Now after that we have to define the right pointer. So here we have to write down this right pointer, and after that here we have to close our structure part, right? So here after that we have to close our structure part, and here we have to define that struct node as the tree node, right? Now here in this case, the link part of this binary tree is represented using the structure, and here we take a pointer variable ptr root to store the address of the root node in the tree, that is ptr tree node star ptr root, right? Okay, now here we go to the slide section, and here we go to the next portion of the slide. So I have to go to the next portion. Now look, here we have to represent the sequential representation part of the binary tree, and here we basically store the elements in the array cell, and here the formulas are there, that is if the this node, that is suppose node 40 placed at this position, then and this position value is suppose k, then its immediate left child, that is this value, stored into the position 2 star k, whereas the right child, that is this part, stored at the position 2 star k plus 1. Okay, now here in the second representation as the sequential representation, so this is the another method to represent a binary tree in memory is by array. Now this method is useful for a complete binary tree and is most efficient for a full binary tree. Now as the rules to store the data value of a binary tree in an array are, the first one is rule is the root r of the tree, that is tree name, here we suppose consider t, is stored in tree of 1, right? Now here in this case, so at first I go to this portion. Now, and the second rule is that if a node n occupies tree of k, then its left child is stored in tree of star k, as I told, and right child is stored in tree of 2 star k plus 1. Now for a binary tree with height h, 2 to the power h minus 1 array spaces are required to store it. And here in this case, so the root node in this tree is a, and this place is 1, right? As I told, so a is stored in this position. Now if in this case, as the a value stored in the position 1, so here k equal to 1, so its immediate left child, that is b, stored in tree of 2 star k, that is tree of 2 star 1, which is 2, and the right child, that is c, stored into the position tree of 2 star k plus 1, that is here as k equal to 1, so tree of 2 star 1 plus 1, which is 3. Now when we move this part, now here the parent value in this tree is b. If we consider this subtree, now this b position is 2, right? So here k equal to 2. So when we move to the node d part, so that is position is tree of 2 star k, as d situated in the left side with respect to node b. So that is tree of 2 star 2, which is 4. Whereas the right child with respect to node b is tree of 2 star 2 plus 1, because here b position is k equal to 2. So that is tree of 2 star 2 plus 1, which is tree of 5. So e is stored into the position 5. Similarly, when we proceed to node j, here k value is 5. So as node j is the left child with respect to node e, so this position is tree of 2 star 5, which is 10. So j will be placed at the 10th position. So this is the sequential representation of the array part in a tree. Now the question is how we can get the leaf nodes from the sequential representation. If the height of the binary tree is h, then all the nodes at level h minus 1 are obviously the leaf nodes. Now in the array, the range of index of the nodes at level h minus 1 is from 2 to the power h minus 1 to 2 to the power h minus 1. So any node within this range in the array is a leaf node. Now for the other nodes n, that are the last level, okay, at index k. Now if tree of 2 star k and tree of 2 star k plus 1 both is null, then n is the leaf node, that is this case, right? Because if we consider the node j, now node j here tree of 2 star k, that is tree of 20, it is null because no values are there in the array cell of 20. Similarly, tree of 2 star k plus 1, that is tree of 2 star 10 plus 1, that is tree of 21. This value also null because no such elements are there in the 21st element position. So that's why j is the leaf node. But if we consider this node of e, here tree of 2 star k, that is tree of 2 star 5, because here e position is at k equal to 5. So tree of 2 star 5, which is tree of 10, is not null because one element, that is called j, here present. So e is not a leaf node. So in this way, we have to identify that which nodes are the leaf node and which nodes are the intermediate nodes, right? Now I just earlier go to the previous slide quickly. Here, this is also a link representation technique. Here we have to represent this all the nodes here by using the link, and here no such formula is used, that is tree of 2 star k and tree of 2 star k plus 1 for left and right child node with respect to the parent node position at k is not used in this case, and a binary tree can be therefore represented by an array or a linked list. Now I go to the next part, that is the tree traversal technique. Now basically tree traversal technique is the one type of technique where it suggests that how can we traverse the whole tree, right? Now basically there are three types of traversal techniques are present. One is the pre-order technique, next one is the post order technique, and third one is the in order technique. Now I go to the notepad section where I describe the each traversal part one by one. Now here in this case, at first I have to erase this thing. Now look here in the tree traversal technique. Here in the first one is the pre-order traversal. So here we at first process the root node, that is, suppose the root node is called R. Then we traverse the left subtree of R in pre-order, then traverse the right subtree of R in pre-order. Now before going to the notepad section, at first I just briefly describe the graphical portion of the traversing technique operation. Now look here, this is one expression tree, right? And the expression is a plus b star c plus d star e plus f into g. And here we have to maintain the BODMAS rule. Now here, as it is a binary tree, so all the operators must situated at the intermediate node, right? This is the rule for binary tree presentation, as I told in the earlier class, right? So this thing is represented as a plus b star c, because the multiplication operation priority is higher than addition. So b star c performed at first, then this thing is added with a, and all these parts situated at the left side, right? Similarly, in this case, the bracket operation occurred at first. So that's why according to the bracket part or parenthesis part, d star e will be evaluated at first. Then this thing is added with f. So this, then whole this thing is multiplied with g, so multiplied with g, and these two sub part is then added, that is this part. So this addition part is placed at the root portion of this tree, right? Now this expression, when we convert to the prefix one, then the expression is this, right? Now here, after that we have to perform the post order as well as the in order traversal part also. That is, here this is the same expression here I used, and this part is for postfix expression for this, and this part is for the in or infix expression. That is, if I totally fragment this whole expression. Okay, now here this is the graphical operation of pre-order traversal. Now according to the rule of the pre-order traversal, at first we visit the root, that is the root node is here this. Okay, so that is a, so a comes at first, then we have to perform the pre-order traversal technique on the left subtree. Now according to this root a, the left subtree of this tree t is as this, right? Here I just rotate this thing, this. Now here in the left subtree with respect to node a, the root node is at b, right? So b at first visited, then here according to the node b, here the left subtree is this. Now here this left subtree, the root node is d, so d at first visited, then its left part, that is node g, then its right part with respect to node d, which is h. So is the left subtree of node b is totally right now traversed or visited. Now we move to the right subtree with respect to node b, right? Now here the according to the right subtree, here the root node with respect to the right subtree of node b is e. So after visited h, then node a e is visited. Then as no left subtree part is present with respect to node e, so its right child, which is I, is visited. Now up to this, all the left subtree with respect to the root node of the whole tree, that is here is t, here already visited. Now it moves to the right subtree with respect to the root node of a. Now to the right subtree with respect to root node a, here the root node of the right subtree is c. So after I, c is visited, that is this. Now here we move to the left subtree with respect to node C. Now the left subtree with respect to node C, the root node here is F. So F is visited after C. Now there as no left part with respect to node F is present. So we move to the right subtree with respect to node F. Now only one child is there, that is called J. So after F, J is visited. Now here as this subtree with respect to node A, no right subtree part is present. So we stop the operation. So when we perform the pre-order traversal of this whole tree, here the sequence comes in this way, right? Then we again consider the another expression tree, right? So here the root node of this expression tree here is the division symbol. So here this part is visited at first. Basically this expression is a plus b into c minus d, and whole thing is divisible by e plus f, right? Now here as I told that the root node of the whole expression t is division. So according to the pre-order traversal technique, this division symbol visited or processed at first. So it will come at the first position. Then we move to the left subtree with respect to this division symbol, and the left subtree with respect to division symbol here is star. So star at first then visited, okay, of this left subtree with respect to node division symbol. Now after star we move to this part, okay, and accordingly plus, then A, then B, this part visited, and after the whole operation of the left subtree visited with respect to node star, we go to the right subtree with respect to node star. Then up, so that's why after B, then minus C and D, these parts are visited, and finally plus E and F. So one thing is clear that in order and post order traversal, here all the same rules we have to follow. And in the pre-order traversal, the first node is the root node, right? Now I go to the notepad section where I describe the algorithm operation of the pre-order traversal technique. Okay, and here in this algorithm part, the first I have to describe the recursive technique, and second the non-recursive technique. So in the recursive part here, at first I have to define this portion, that is this. Okay, now here this algorithm finds the pre-order traversal of a binary tree using recursion. And here the input is the PTR root, which is the address of the root node of the tree, right? And before starting this algorithm, at first we have to check that PTR root is null or not. Because if the root node is null, then the tree is empty. Okay. So if the PTR root node, which points to the root node or the address of the root node of this tree is not null, then at first we have to print the root value. So here we have to write down this root value. So this value we have to print it. Then we have to perform the recursive pre-order technique of the left portion of this root node, and after the completion of this operation, then we have to perform the same recursive pre-order technique to the right subtree with respect to this root node. Okay, so this is for the left subtree and this is for the right subtree, and after that we have to close our algorithm. So this is the recursive technique for finding the pre-order traversal of a binary tree using recursion. Now next I have to describe the non-recursive technique, and this algorithm finds the pre-order traversal of a binary tree in a non-recursive way. So here I have to write down this thing, that is so this. Okay, And here also we have to use the ptr root, and which is the address of the root node of the tree. And this algorithm as finds the pre-ordered traversal of a binary tree in a non-recursive way. So the algorithm name here I use fn non_recursive_ pre-order. Okay. Now here, before starting this algorithm, at first I have to define one pointer part, that is this. Okay. Now after that we have to initialize a stack. Suppose the stack name is s to be empty. So we have to initialize the stack s. So I have to write down this thing, initialize stack s. Now here then I have to push the root node onto the stack, because the pre-order traversal technique first it visits the root node. So I have to write down, after initialize the stack, different push here root s. Okay. Now after that, here we have to check while the stack is not empty. Okay. Then if the stack is not empty, then we perform the pop operation. Okay. So here we have to check while this part, that is stack is not empty, and if the condition is satisfied, that is stack is not empty, then we have to pop a node from the stack. So here in this case we have to perform the pop operation. Okay. And if the node is not null, so this part also we have to check it. So I have to write down this, if the node is not null, and if the node is not null, this condition is satisfied, then I have to print the contents of the node, that is n. Okay. So here I have to write down the print the contents of the node n. Then I have to push the root of the right subtree. Okay. So push the root of the right subtree. Okay. Then after that push the root of the left subtree. So the root of the left subtree, because in stack last in first out operation perform, and finally I have to close our algorithm. So in this way we have to find the pre-ordered traversal of a binary tree in a non-recursive way. Now I go to the slide section where I describe the next traversing technique. Okay, that is in order traversal. And here the left subtree is visited at first in ordered way. Then we visit the root node of the tree. Then we visit the right subtree of the tree in order way. Now this tree here, the root node is A. Now the left subtree with respect to node A is this, whereas the right subtree with respect to node A is this. Now according to the left subtree of with respect to node A, here we go to the leftmost portion. Now this left subtree part, the leftmost child here is G. So G at first visited, then its immediate parent node, that is D, is visited. So after G, then D is visited, then its right subtree, which is H. So H is visited. Now all the left subtree with respect to node B is visited. Then it will visit the parent node with respect to the left subtree, that is DGH. Now which is B. So after H, B is visited. Now it visit the right subtree with respect to node B in order way. Now here the right subtree with respect to node B, here no left child is there. with respect to node E. So after B, then node E is visited, then node I. And when all the left subtree with respect to the root node of this tree, which is A, is visited, then it immediately visits the root node, which is A. Now after visiting the root node of this tree, T, here tree name here we consider T, then it goes to the right subtree with respect to node A. Now the right subtree here, this part here, no left child is there with respect to node F. So after A, then node F is visited, then its immediate right child, which is node J, is visited, then finally node C is visited. And as no other nodes are present, so the in-order traversing technique stops here. Okay. Now I go to the notepad section where I describe the in-order traversing technique. Now here I have to at first this thing. Now in the in-order part, as I told that at first it will traverse the left subtree of the root R in order. Here root node we assume is R. Then we process the root R. Then finally we traverse the right subtree of the root R in order way. So here also we have to maintain two algorithms. One is for the recursive technique and another one is for the non-recursive technique. And here the algorithm name is FN recursive in order. And this algorithm finds the in-order traversal of a binary tree using recursion. So at first I have to write down this thing in the notepad. Now here PTR root is the address of the root node of the tree. So before starting this algorithm, according to the pre-order technique, here also we at first state that PTR root is not equal to null, because if PTR root is null, then the tree is empty. Now if the PTR root is not equal to null, this condition is satisfied, then we have to visit the left subtree with respect to the root node of this tree. So I have to write down this. Then after that, here we have to print the PTR root info. So here write down this, and finally we have to visit the right subtree part of this tree. So I have to write down this. So this is for right subtree, and then we have to close our algorithm. So in this recursive technique, we have to find the in-order traversal of a binary tree. Next, I have to describe another method which is for non-recursive. And this non-recursive way also we have to find the in-order traversal of a binary tree. So the function name here I used is fn non_recursive_ in order. Okay, so I have to write down this part. And here also PTR root is the address of the root node of the tree. Now here at first we have to declare one pointer variable, that is tree node start P. Now after that we have to assign the address of the root node to P. So we have to write down this. So this. Okay. Now after that we have to initialize the stack S to be empty. So initialize stack S. So I have to write down this thing, initialize stack S. Then we have to use one while condition, and because while the stack is not empty or P is not null, then we have to perform the operation. So here we use one logical operator. So I have to write down this thing. Okay. And if any one condition satisfied, then we have to perform the following operation. And inside this, also we have to check while P is not equal to null. So I have to write down this part. Okay. Then if this condition is not equal to null, then I have to push P to the stack S. So I have to write down this thing. Okay. Then after that, we have to traverse the left child of P. So we have to write down P equal to P arrow ptr left, and we have to close this conditional part. Now after that, we have to check if stack is not empty. So after that, here we have to write down this. Okay. And if the stack is not empty, then we have to pop from stack S and assign the address to P. So inside the if condition, to write down this. Okay. And after assigning the address to P, then we have to print the information field of P. So we have to write down this, because information field of P part we have to print it. So this. And after printing, then we have to traverse the right child of P. So P equal to right now P arrow ptr right. So this, and we close this condition. Okay. And finally we end this algorithm part. So in this way, here this algorithm finds the in-order traversal of a binary tree in a non-recursive way. Now I go to the slide section where I describe the next traversing technique, that is called post order. And here in the post order traversal, at first we visit the left subtree of the whole tree in post order way. Then we visit the right subtree of the whole tree in post order way. And finally we visit the root node of the tree. Here in this tree, root node is A. So A is visited at last position. So this, okay. Remember one thing, in pre-order traversal, first we visit the root node. Okay. So if we perform the pre-order traversal of this whole tree, A will be placed at first place. But in the post-order traversal, root node visited at last position. So A will be placed at the last position. So if in a list, and that list is mentioned that post-order traversing list, so the last node of this list must be a root node of the tree. Now come to this tree portion. Here in this tree, the root node, as I told, is A. Now the left subtree is this, and in the left subtree, the parent node is B. Okay. Now here we go to the leftmost portion with respect to node B, and the leftmost portion here is G. So G at first visited. Now here, according to this tree, the parent node is D, its immediate left child is G, and immediate right child is H. Now G at first visited, then the next node, which is H visited, then the parent node, which is D, is visited. So after H, D is visited. Now this left subtree portion with respect to node B is over. So it proceeds to the right subtree with respect to node B. Now in the right subtree part, this portion of tree is there. Now here no left child is present with respect to node E. So after this D, then I is visited. Then its immediate parent node, which is E, is visited. Now up to this, here all the left and right subtree with respect to node B is visited. So after E, then node B is visited. Now all the left subtree with respect to node A is visited. Now it moves to the right subtree with respect to the main root node of this tree, which is A. Now to the right subtree part with respect to node A, here this is this. Okay. Now here, so after B, as it goes to this part, that is right subtree with respect to node A, now it comes to this part. Now node A, no left child is there. So after B, then node J is visited. Then after J, its immediate parent node, which is F, is visited. So right now, all the left subtree with respect to node C is visited. Now as no right subtree with respect to node C is present, so after it, node C is visited. And up to this point, all the left and right subtree with respect to the main root node of this tree, which is A, is visited. So finally, after C, node A is visited. And the sequence is this way. So this is the technique of post-order traversal. Now I go to the notepad section for describing the algorithm operation of the post-order traversing technique. So at first I erase this thing. Now here in the post-order traversal, as I told that at first we have to traverse the left subtree of R. Here R is the root node, we assume, in post order. Then we have to traverse the right subtree of R in post order, and finally we have to process the root of the tree, which is R, right? And here also we have to maintain the two algorithms. One is for the recursive way and another one is for the non-recursive way. So first one I have to describe the recursive part. Okay, so I have to write down this thing in the notepad. So this, and this algorithm finds the post order traversal of a binary tree using recursion. And here also PTR root is the address of the root node of the tree. Now before starting this algorithm, at first we have to check whether PTR root is not equal to null, because if PTR root is null, it means that tree is empty, right? Now if the PTR root is not equal to null, then we have to call the function of this fn recursive post order part and of the left subtree. So I have to write down this part, so left part. Now after calling the left part, then we have to call the right part of this tree. So we have to call the function is this, as it is a recursive function. Okay, and after that we have to print the value of each node. So print, so print, and finally we have to close our algorithm. So in this way, this algorithm finds the post order traversal of a binary tree using recursion. Next, I have to describe the another algorithm which finds the post order traversal of a binary tree in a non-recursive way. So at first I have to write down the algorithm name. This. So I have to write down this. And here also PTR root is the address of the root node of the tree. Now before starting this algorithm, here at first I describe two pointer variables. So here I write down this thing. Okay. And after that, we have to assign the address of the root node to P. So, to write down this. Okay. Now, after assigning the address of the root node to P, then we have to check that stack is not empty. So, we have to write down while not empty of S. And the stack name here is S. So, we have to write down this. And if this condition satisfied, then we have to check P is not null. So inside this condition, we have to check while P is not null. And if this condition also satisfied, then we have to push P onto the stack S. So to perform the push operation. So to write down this thing. Now after push P onto stack S, then here we have to check that whether the right pointer with respect to P part is not equal to null. So I have to use this condition here. Okay, sorry, not there. Okay, then we have to push null if the right child of P exists. So we have to write down this. Okay, and after push null, if right child of P exists, then we have to traverse to the left child of P. So here to write down this thing. So this and to close it. Okay. Now we have to pop one node from stack, assign it to n. So we have to write down this thing. Now after pop operation, then we have to check n is not equal to null. Take this thing, and if n is not null, then print its information field. So we have to print the information field part of n if the condition is satisfied. Okay, otherwise we have to pop one node from stack S and assign it to n. So we have to write down this thing. Okay, and after pop operation, we have to assign the address of the right child of node n to P. So to assign P equal to n arrow ptr right. So this, and after that we have to push n onto stack. That is stack name here is S. So we have to write down fn push of S comma n. Okay, and finally we have to close our algorithm. Okay, and in this way this algorithm finds the post order traversal of a binary tree in a non-recursive way. So these are the three techniques as I described here right now. So I stop my today's lecture. Thank you.